Round 8 New Zealand Warriors family. This one's come around quick. It's a Friday game. It's Anzac Day. It's up against the Knights. Our boys are on a bit of a roll. We beat the Broncos. We've won 3 out of our last 4. The Knights, they've only won 1 of their last 4 games. They've lost 3 in a row. They'll be looking to turn things around. I don't think we should underestimate them, guys, because Ponga is one of the most lethal players in the game. If he flicks the switch, we could play them into form if we're not careful. So I bet the boys are really focused for this one. Over the years, we've played 49 games. The Warriors with a winning record of 25 wins. Knights have 23 and we've had 1 draw. So we know we can beat these guys, but we definitely can't underestimate them. We'll take a quick look at some of the stats that both teams have put out this year. Then we'll break down the teams and I'll have a quick look at who I think is going to win this game. So currently the Warriors are sitting in 4th on the table. We've had 4 wins. They're down on 14th. They've only had 2 wins, but that's not a huge difference in the context of the season. They can get things back on track really quickly, and I hope we're not the team to do it for them. Points for and against, we're minus 18, they're minus 60. It looks like we're doing way better, but when you actually look at the points scored and conceded, we're doing worse than them in defense. We've scored 118 points with 136 against. They've only scored 60 points, which is very unusual, but they've only conceded 120, which is less than us. They haven't played the Storms yet, so that could get blown out in a heartbeat. One weird stat for me is the tries. We're way down below mid-table, having only scored 22 tries. Those guys have only scored 12. They're right at the bottom of the table. The amount of tries scored by the Knights is very unusual because if you look at the line breaks, we've had 22. They've had 25. 25 line breaks that they've only been able to convert to tries 12 times. You usually find that the line breaks and the tries are quite similar. We've got 19 line breaks and 22 tries. But to have 25 line breaks and just 12 tries, that is really odd. Tackle breaks as well. I think they're about 3rd on the table for that. We've only got 166. They've got 243. For them, Maju is one of the keys. He's had 43 tackle breaks. Gagai 34. Bradman best 32. Tane Tuolpiki is our best at 27. So the Warriors not doing so great on the tackle break stats this year, but we're getting it done. Offloads another example. Only 42 offloads for us, 61 for them. Maju again leading the stats here with 21. Maju killing it this year. He's had about a quarter of their tackle breaks and a third of the offloads by himself. Aaron Clark with 7 offloads is the most by any Warrior, so we're significantly behind them in that stat, which means that we're playing a lot more conservative footy. You'll see that in a moment by the completion rates. Over the 6 games we've played, we've had 10,313 run meters. They've had just 9,877. We're currently averaging 1,718 metres per game, which puts us in 3rd just behind the Raiders and the Panthers. Those guys are sitting right down in the bottom. Post-contact metres, we've had 3,525. They've had 3,353. Not too dissimilar, but with 587 average post-contact metres per game, we're currently sitting in 2nd. So it's great to see we're maintaining the momentum and being able to get those metres and post-contact metres without AFB this year. Completion rate, this is huge. We're still sitting at number 1 at 82%. They're right down the bottom with just 70%. So throwing all those offloads, getting those line breaks, are obviously making a lot of errors as well. I like it, but you'll find the teams that have the highest completion rate are often the teams who don't score a lot of points. We're playing really conservative footy. I wouldn't mind us having a little bit more of a dig when we're on attack there, but it's good that we're not giving away easy possession to the opposition. Looking at the negative plays, we've only had 62 errors. We're 2nd best in the competition. They've had 91. We don't have any players in the top 50 in the comp at the moment. They have KP with 14, who's 3rd, and Maju with 13, who's 4th. So as good as KP and Maju are on their attack, they will give us opportunities through their errors, but both KP and Maju are key to their attack. We have to shut them down. And if we can do that, we'll go a long way to winning this game. Penalties conceded, we've just conceded 23. They've conceded 40. We've got no players again in the top 50 for penalties conceded for 2025. They have 3 in Gagai, Best and Frizzell. So they'll give us opportunities through penalties again. That'll help us maintain momentum and get some good field position. Can we convert on it? That's a big question for me. Missed tackles, we've had 193. They've had 204, but our man Kurt Gatewell continues to lead the comp with the most missed tackles. He's had 34. For the Knights, Dane Gagai leads the way with 23 missed tackles. So he'll give us the odd opportunity through our left-hand side because he'll be on their right-hand side. So let's see if we can make the most of those opportunities too. So the stats don't tell you the full story, but they give you a few insights. But the one that matters most is us sitting on 4th, them sitting on 14th. We've got to maintain this momentum. The 2 points consolidates our position in the top 8. Heading into Magic Round up against the Cowboys, another win there is vital before we start coming up against some of these really tough teams on the road. So looking at the key ins for both teams, we've got Chance and Rocco back. Great for us. It stops guys having to play out of position. It brings in a lot of experience. It gives us some great defense here with Rocco. But for them, they've got Dylan Lucas back. He is an absolute gun. He's only played 2 games this season, but I think he's really key for them. He doesn't look like a huge guy, but he's a really impactful player, so we're going to have to tie him up on an edge. The back 5 for the Knights is a lethal attacking unit. Some guys are capable of creating something out of nothing. They're big, they're fast, they're really strong in contact, so we're going to have to work hard to contain them, but I don't think they're on the same level as what the Broncos could have been if they were able to light things up last week. So we've showed that we can contain a fast backline, but we're going to have to be on point. For us, it's great to have Chance back. He'll be revitalised. He'll be energised, having re-signed for 2 years. He's had a bit of a break with that head knock. The legs will be full of energy. I expect him to run well over 200 metres. It's great to have Rocco back on the right-hand side. His kick chase, his defense is key. I do like Ali on the left. A lot of people prefer him on the right because he's scored a couple of tries there, but a lot of our shape's going left this year, so I think it's good to give him that opportunity with the ball coming his way. But we do need Chanel to straighten things up and put Ali through a couple of holes like we saw him get that try against Manly. Neither of these teams have got what you would call an elite experienced half combination, so I think this is a great matchup for our boys. Fletcher Sharp and Tyson Gamble aren't who you would have expected to be there at the start of the season for them. Are they able to do a job? I think our boys are starting to make some progress. This is a chance for them to play themselves into some form, get that attack sinking, because if they don't, Tanner Boyd and Tamati Martin are really knocking down the door to try and get their chance. Overall, I think we do have the ability to get one up and over them in the backs, but only time will tell. Like I said, if they click, they can be a nightmare. This will be a really interesting matchup in the forwards because this is by far the smallest of the packs that we've come up against this year. They will be fit, they will be mobile, but they'll be a lot less intimidating than having to deal with Payne Haas and Carrigan last week. So I think our boys need to go in with the same attitude to dominate them, to win the middle, get very direct, because I do think we look best when we're going straight through the middle. If you're looking for smokies for tries for any time try scorer, I wouldn't be surprised to see either Aaron Clark, Jackson Ford, or Mitch Barnett get one this week, or Dimitri Vaimaga. One of those guys is going to go through the middle and score under the post. We do need to be careful though. We can't underestimate them. Like I said, Dylan Lucas is a really good player. Tyson Frizzell is highly experienced. Leo Thompson playing together with his brother, he could be one to watch. For what clubs were potentially looking to offer him when he made that decision to go to Canterbury, I don't think he's lived up to the level of $1 million prop or whatever it was they ended up paying him. He'll be looking to turn that form around, particularly, as I said, playing with his twin brother there on the bench. For us, it's great that we're having a bit of consistency, playing predominantly the same pack week in, week out. We've got Clark, Mitch, and Ford just pounding it down through the middle. For me, I expect huge things from Capewell and Marata this week, because if they don't deliver at a really elite level, Lekker's going to be really pushing for either of their spots, so they're going to have to work hard to keep him out. Looking at the benches here, again, this is a very light bench from them with only one prop, 2 back rows and a hooker on there. For us at the moment, we've got 2 edges and 2 middles. As much as I really love this bench, I think Lecker and Dimitrik are a lock. I'd really love to see Laban get another game. I do like what Bunty's contributed, but I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to see a late change here and we'll see someone else come onto the bench. Now, there's a couple ways to look at this. One is I wouldn't mind seeing Tanner Stowers-Smith get a debut in his hometown here, maybe taking Bunty's spot, giving him a chance to come on here with an experienced pack around him, up against one of the least intimidating packs we've seen for a while. I don't really think that'll happen, but what I have penciled in the back of my mind for a number of weeks now is I think we could see Healey come in for a debut. Like I said, this isn't the biggest pack we're up against. I mentioned last week that Wade Egan's been playing a lot of minutes and Webby thinks he's been playing too many. We saw him get a bit of a niggle in that knee, so I think either Sam Healey comes in for a debut or Tanner Boyd gets a club debut at 14. I feel like we need a little bit of speed coming off the bench there up against a tired pack who hopefully will be tired out from dealing with our big medals. It's really hard to predict because Webby hasn't been making a lot of late changes lately. He used to do that, but he's been pretty consistent. But I just have this little sneaking suspicion this week. Who would you like to see come into the 14 role if someone did drop out? And who are the 3 players you'd like to see stay on the bench? For me, as I said, it could be a banana skin game if the Knights come back into form, but with all things being equal, the way both teams have been going this season, playing at home in Christchurch, having the emotion of Anzac Day, having Chance re-signed, he'll be up for a big one. I really do feel like our boys could get up and get this one done, and I'd love it if they could do it comfortably because we've really got to get our for and against back into the positives. So guys, What do you reckon? What's your prediction? Give me your score predictions in the comments. And speaking of comments, thank you so much to everyone who's jumped on board and followed me and been interacting recently. It's blown me away how much the numbers have grown, particularly across TikTok, Facebook, and Insta over the past few months. Crazy growth. But what it does mean is I don't always get a chance to reply to the comments. I always prided myself on that, but now with hundreds of comments every day across multiple platforms, it is tough to get to. I do really appreciate you all. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button. I'm determined to get over 5,000 followers on Facebook this week and hopefully get up over 5,000 on Insta over the next week or so too. And for TikTok, the ultimate goal, I've got to get up over 15,000 before the end of the season. That's it for me. Let's hope the Warriors can get up and pay the ultimate respect to our military personnel, both past and present, and particularly to those who paid the ultimate price.